Hey, so I wanted to talk about Terence McKenna today. I actually wanted to talk about Terence McKenna on Friday, but I got called into work, so I wasn't able to record and upload a video. Um, but before I talk about Terence McKenna, I want to talk about the channel and some of the things that I'm working on. As some of you may recall, I was reading The Count of Monte Cristo. I have essentially stopped reading The Count of Monte Cristo. Uh, if you've paid attention to my posts, you will see that I had 4 books that I was trying to read in preparation for a new article. Um, and I read 3 of them. But this one here, I have not read yet. And I started reading a bit, but The Nature of Mind is, first off, incredibly dense, and it is not what I originally thought it was when I first bought it. I thought it was a discussion on the nature of mind, but this is not really a discussion. Uh, this is excerpts of other authors' works that all contribute to the field of philosophy of mind. Now, about this book was actually $79, but I got it for 26. So it is a full-blown academic book, and it's double. It's double block, whatever. I don't know what that's called. Um, so I'm also reading Matter and Memory by Bergson, and I am reading. I just busted this out of storage. See, the theory of psychoanalysis by Jung wasn't giving me everything that I needed. So, Man and His Symbols by Carl Jung and others. So I will be reading those to supplement my work and hopefully get done with writing the primatology of La Rochefoucauld. So with that said, let's get on to the topic. Terence McKenna. Now, Terence McKenna was someone who I became aware of through music first, actually. There was a song that I listened to. There were a couple songs, actually. The first was, because I used to listen to Psytrance, and the first was Burn-In Noise Transparent. And this has the quote about, it's not for your elucidation, it's not for your own self-directed psychotherapy. You are an explorer, and you represent our species. And that was really my introduction to Terence McKenna. Then there was another song called Salvia Divinorum by 1200 Micrograms, and that has a quote from Terence McKenna as well, talking about salvia. And so I was aware of Terence McKenna before I started tripping on psychedelics, but I didn't really get into him until after I started tripping on psychedelics. That is, after 2017. And so when in late 2017, pretty much the end of 2017, actually, I think it was early 2018. It was the beginning of 2018. I started listening to Terence McKenna more and more. I watched the 2-hour documentary on true hallucinations, and I realized that I really like this guy. I like listening to what he has to say. He's a very interesting talker. He's very excellent at oratory. He has such a large vocabulary, and he speaks with such authority. It's just something to be in awe of. Now, as for his ideas are very interesting, and some of them are proven true. Some of them I don't think are correct, and some of them are definitely false. For example, the theory that the end of history would come in 2012. Obviously, that never happened. We don't have time machines yet, so he was wrong about that. And people have analyzed his software, which was TimeWave Zero. It's full of mathematical errors. So what you could ask is if those mathematical errors were corrected in the software, would TimeWave Zero be a valid uh, software? Would it be a valid predictive model? Uh, I don't know. I don't know if it would be, but that's interesting to think about. Um, so McKenna did actually believe in a golden age in man's ancient past. He was influenced by Rian Eisler, the Chalice and the Blade. Um, and people don't realize this, but he offered the stoned ape theory as an explanation of how that golden age managed to exist. Uh, because I think he realized that man is innately hierarchical, and the only way to really break down the hierarchy, the hierarchical systems that man produces, is by breaking down the ego. And so he proposed that in the distant past, man's ancestors had been breaking down their egos regularly with the usage of psychedelic mushrooms. So that is actually his explanation for it. And of course, he says he wasn't very convinced of it. Uh, it was more of an academic game to him. But it's still an interesting theory. Now, of course, I have entertained the thought that there was an egalitarian period for mankind in the distant past, around the period of the Younger Dryas or before that, before agriculture. And but I don't ultimately believe that we have ever had a time without hierarchy. Uh, my academic game was saying, if you want to reduce hierarchy, here's how you would do it, because here's what we know about the time when there was no hierarchy, or when there supposedly was no hierarchy. And so here's what we need to change in order to get back to that state. And unfortunately, Metanaissance has been taken down again, so I am trying to get my Substack up, and I'll post some stuff on the Substack. But another of McKenna's ideas, one that got proven true, was the concept of memes. He believed that memes would overtake communication. Visual memes would take the place of spoken word, and he was correct about that. Most of the communication on the internet, which is most communication now, is done through memes. And of course, he didn't invent the concept of memes. That was Richard Dawkins back in 1978. But Richard Dawkins did not predict the rise of meme culture. Terence McKenna did. So Terence McKenna predicted the importance of the internet. He predicted that the internet would be very important. And although I don't think he expected it to be as important as it is now, I think we have exceeded his expectations. Then, of course, I believe Terence McKenna predicted the podcast, or the popularity of the podcast. I can't recall correctly, but I believe he did. If he did, that's another prediction true. The podcasts are everywhere now. Everyone's got a podcast. So when it comes to McKenna, I take him with a grain of salt. He is very enjoyable to listen to. He is one of the best speakers I have ever heard of. He is the best speaker I have ever heard. And but he does get things wrong. He's so far out that he isn't quite necessarily grounded in reality at all times. And it is interesting to see because he was an ethnobotanist, but he's not exactly famous for his ethnobotany anymore. He's famous for his philosophy. And his philosophy covers a wide range of things, from technology to phenomenology to the drive of history to primatology. So he is proof of the concept that branching out is necessary for novel ideas. That's another thing. I just said the word novel. I believe he was right about novelty. I believe he was right. Novelty appears to increase as time goes on. The purpose of life appears to be novelty. And the purpose of the universe seems to be as a container for the novelty produced by life. So I do believe he is correct about that, although I can't quite prove that. But that's about all. McKenna is really great, especially when you're tripping. He's great to listen to. Thank you for watching. Peace.